The viral footage shows BigXThaPlug allegedly shooting his homie Z the Wizard in his head at a Dallas club on New Year's Day 2026.
They walk up to him. Whatever they asked him, Z the Wizard stole off one of them. Next thing you know, they start fighting. Dude that was with the suspect, he pulled out a blick, started shooting at the whole club.
Z the Wizard, who had just got put on by Future's Free Bands label, was left fighting for his life after shooters lit up the Pink House Dallas and hit 5 people. Let's break down exactly what happened and why this footage been running up numbers all over the internet. The night everything went left, the Pink House Dallas was having its grand opening on New Year's Eve 2025. The spot, an after-hours joint near Empire Central and North Stemmons Freeway, had lined up local talent for what was supposed to be a lit celebration. Two of the biggest names pulling up that night were BigXThaPlug and Z the Wizard. BigXThaPlug, government name Xavier Landum, had been putting in work for the past 2 years, building himself into one of the coldest names in Texas rap. His track Texas went gold. Stacked up over 330 million streams. By late 2025, he had been linking up with country artists like Luke Combs, Jelly Roll, and Bailey Zimmerman, dropping an album called I Hope You're Happy that mixed that southern trap sound with Nashville vibes. Homie was, by any measure, the hottest rapper to come out the D in years. Z the Wizard, born Zach Curie Cannon Grant Fields, was 25 years old. He came up in Oak Cliff, a neighborhood in South Dallas where cats had to stay on point. His path to music came after a sports injury shut down his athletic dreams. He started dropping tracks in late 2024, putting out projects like Hood Prophet and bangers like Boss Nah, 4 for 4, and Chevy. His whole style was about that motivational wave, grinding, surviving, stacking bread from nothing. By summer 2025, the Dallas Observer had named him among the top 20 rappers to watch in the DFW. In August 2025, Z the Wizard signed to Future's Free Bands label. That was the type of bag that meant he was about to go from hood famous to mainstream. He had already got co-signs from cats like G Herbo and Rod Wave. MO3's manager Rainwater called him incredibly talented with the potential to take over the whole streets. Both these rappers were running with what folks in Dallas called the New Dallas movement. This was a squad of young artists who had linked up with one mission: promoting unity instead of that beef energy. The movement had names like Zillionaire Doe, Montana 700, and Himothy Chung. These were trappers from different hoods, some of which had static with each other going way back.
Wiz one of the ones, you know what I'm saying? He didn't get to talk. My nigga Wiz one of the ones. One of the ones. Versatile.
The whole point of New Dallas was simple. Instead of sliding on each other, these rappers would hold each other down. They would pull up to each other's shows, push each other's music, and move as one unit. It was a direct response to what had happened to the OGs of Dallas rap, which had been ripped apart by that street drama. MO3 got hit in 2020. Yella Beezy was catching murder charges connected to MO3's body. The whole scene had been split.
It's really love between these crews. We're really trying to do something new and positive with this new generation.
On New Year's Eve, Z the Wizard was booked to hit the stage at Pink House Dallas for the grand opening. According to his people, he performed right before midnight and rocked a crowd that had his own family in the building. After he finished his set, his family dipped. Z the Wizard stayed behind to keep turning up with BigXThaPlug and the rest of the homies. The energy in that club was straight vibes. Footage from earlier that night showed both rappers getting active.
As you can see, the caption says BigXThaPlug and Z the Wizard in Dallas for New Year.
Z the Wizard was making it rain in that joint, throwing stacks at the dancers. BigXThaPlug had a section locked down with bottles. Shorties were twerking. It was, by all accounts, a movie.
So you can see, it seemed like a celebratory mood.
Then, around 3:45 a.m. on January 1st, 2026, everything went sideways. Dallas police got calls about shots fired in the parking lot. When the boys showed up, the scene was already cleared out, but they found evidence that somebody had been bussin'. 5 people caught bullets. 1 was in critical condition. That was Z the Wizard. According to family members who later chopped it up with WFAA, Z the Wizard had been hit multiple times. Word was he caught one to the dome. He got rushed to the hospital, where doctors immediately put him in critical condition. The footage that would blow up all over the net was captured in those moments right after the shooting. It showed BigXThaPlug outside the club, trying to process what just happened to his mans.
So as you heard him say, he said they shot Z in the head. What the F?
That clip spread across social media in hours. You could see BigXThaPlug in an orange jacket, leaning against a whip in that pink-lit parking lot. You could hear him say what everybody would replay a million times. They shot Z in the head.
That was him on the floor?
I think the last thing you hear him say is that was him.
BigXThaPlug ain't catch no bullets, but his reaction, the shock, the disbelief, that moment when you realize somebody just smoked your homie, became the image that defined the whole story as it went viral. The cap spreading and the family stepping up. Within hours of the shooting, a whole different type of chaos jumped off. Folks on social media started posting that Z the Wizard was gone. The cap spread fast as hell, running way ahead of any official word from the laws or the hospital. By the morning of January 1st, 2026, RIP posts and tributes were flooding X, Instagram, and TikTok. Hella people were mourning somebody who was, at that moment, still breathing. The misinformation moved the way it always moves. Somebody dropped an unverified claim. Others ran with it without fact-checking nothing. Blog sites and hip-hop pages grabbed the posts and pushed stories based on Twitter fingers instead of real information. The result was a whole wave of false reports that Z the Wizard's family had to fight against while they were already dealing with the reality that their people was on life support. Montana 700, one of Z the Wizard's day ones and another member of the new Dallas squad, was one of the first cats to call out the bogus reports. He hit his story thanking folks for the love while setting the record straight.
Thank you to everyone. We appreciate you all the love y'all got for Z. There has been misinformation floating around. As of now, Z is still fighting, praying that he bounces back and on full recovery.
The message was crystal. Z the Wizard ain't dead. He was on life support, fighting for his life. But the damage from all that early cap had already been done. Mad people who saw the first post about him dying never saw the corrections. By January 3rd, 2026, WFAA confirmed that Z the Wizard was still in the hospital on life support. The family had talked directly to reporters to clear up his status. According to the report, the fam was staying optimistic about his recovery while asking for prayers and privacy. The situation at the hospital had gotten complicated beyond just the medical drama. Dallas PD posted up extra security around the hospital to manage all the heads that had pulled up. Random fans who ain't never met Z the Wizard in person were trying to slide through. The family said even extended relatives couldn't get in, with police pointing to safety concerns while detectives kept investigating. The family expressed appreciation for the attention they were getting from Dallas police, not just for keeping their boy safe, but for helping the hospital staff do their jobs without all the extra noise. Timothy Chung, another new Dallas artist who was tight with Z the Wizard, posted on the gram asking folks to fall back and stop flooding the hospital. The message was the same from everybody in his circle. Let the doctors work. Let the family breathe and stop running with cap you ain't verified.
That's what I'm hearing right now. I'm hearing that he's still in critical condition.
The whole situation exposed how wild social media gets when shootings pop off. Information moved faster than facts. Emotional reactions outran actual reporting. The same apps that had helped push Z the Wizard's music were now spreading lies about him being dead before his family could even wrap their heads around what happened. This ain't the first time it went down like this. It had happened before with other rappers, other shootings, other bodies. But the speed at which the Z the Wizard story went from shooting at a Dallas club to rising rapper got smoked showed how fast narratives get locked in once the internet runs with them.
I hate when I just hear about a rapper because he got killed.
A lot of heads pointed out the twisted irony of how many people were just now tapping into Z the Wizard's music because of the shooting. His streams probably shot up in the days after January 1st. His name was trending. His tracks were getting added to playlists. But all that attention came at the worst possible time, for the worst possible reason. For the family, they were fighting two battles at once, a medical crisis and a public narrative that kept slipping away from them. Every hour brought new posts, new claims, new nonsense, just confirming that their son, their brother, their homie was still alive, required them to keep correcting the record. As of the days after the shooting, only immediate family was being allowed in his hospital room. The rapper, who had been on stage hours earlier, making it rain and rocking for a crowd that had his own blood in it, was now surrounded only by his closest people, while thousands of strangers online debated whether he was still breathing. The confusion around his status dragged on for days, but the family's message stayed solid. Z the Wizard was fighting. He wasn't gone yet, and they needed everybody to respect that reality, even when the internet seemed determined to bury him early. What we know about the lick. The details of what actually popped off inside and outside the Pink House Dallas in the early hours of January 1st, 2026, stayed murky in the days after it went down. Dallas police kept their cards close, and most of what was floating around came from eyewitness accounts that couldn't be confirmed. Here's what the laws actually verified, what witnesses claimed they saw, and where the story still had holes. According to the Dallas Police Department, officers rolled up to reports of gunfire at the Pink House around 3:45 a.m. on January 1st, 2026. When they got there, the spot was cleared out, which meant the shooting had wrapped before the boys even showed up. 5 people had been hit. 1 was in critical condition. That turned out to be Z the Wizard. Police said the shooting started from an altercation, but didn't give up no details about what the beef was, who was involved, or what triggered somebody to start bussing. They ain't named no suspects. They ain't confirmed whether any of the victims got targeted specifically or just caught stray shots. They ain't confirmed no motive. Eyewitness accounts, which folks was sharing on socials and YouTube channels, was chopping up, painted a wilder picture, but none of it was verified.